Hey, what's your favorite fucking scary movie?
Bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to the Average AF podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Adam,
And my name is Steve.
and this is the very first episode. So thank you guys for being with us and tuning in. Hopefully we'll make it interesting for you. We did want to open the show with some shout outs, just for people that have helped us out along the journey to get to this point. So I'll let you go ahead and start that.
All the info I got about doing a podcast I got from one person who actually has done it before, along with video content as well. So he definitely has some experience, and I respect his opinion on things. And I feel like I can go to him, with anything, and he can give me a straight up answer. And keep it real with me. His name is Mr. Taylor Sabo, or it might be Sabo. Sabo, S-A-B-O.
Big shout out, Taylor.
Yes. If he ever hears this, just want you to know, man, to thank you. I appreciate our relationship. And, if ever either one of us ever moves on from where we work, we can keep in touch, keep things moving.
Cool. And then I just have a couple here. The first one is my dude, Brandon Caballero. Great dude, probably one of the best dudes I've ever known. He's actually the guy that drew up our logo. So I think that's super dope.
He used a really good. I really like that one.
Yeah.
Man. First time I
Dude,
saw it, it grew on me.
Literally made it in 20 minutes.
Impressive.
I swear. So
whoever you are, that's impressive.
I messaged him and was like, "Hey, bro, you want to help us out?" Like, he knew what was going on. He said, "Yeah, let me draw something up real quick."
Oh, he drew it.
Well, I mean, on
Okay.
the computer, but I'm like, all right, no worries, sounds good. And literally 20 minutes later, I can show you the message with the timestamps. He's like, "Hey, what about this?"
Man.
I'm like, "Yo."
Hey.
I had, we worked a little bit, added just some tiny things here, but that basic concept was 20 minutes, man.
All right.
He does great work. He's actually drawn up a couple tattoos that I want to get to. So big shout out, Brandon. You can find him on Instagram, Mr. Caballero. That's MR period CABALHERO. Cabal Hero. That's not actually his last name, but that's pretty dope. So next people I want to shout out here is my guys over at the Makes Me Wonder podcast, Dakota and Adam. I reached out to them too about equipment, software, kind of what to look for, how to do certain things. They definitely helped me out quite a bit. I asked them probably too many questions, but they were only nice about it. So big shout out to them. Definitely look for their podcast out there. Super interesting. I listen to every single episode. And then just big shout out to everyone else here that supports us, especially the people on Facebook. Made the social media here, and we'll plug that a little later. But all the likes we got and all that, super impressive in just a short amount of time.
Yeah. Like I said, we're just getting started, but and I'm not a very social media type guy. I do have an Instagram account. Outside of that, I don't really have much, but just to support out of the gate. He showed me like 100 people have already subscribed.
Up to 135, I think,
Nice.
in like 2 days. So.
And we haven't even shot nothing yet or recorded anything yet.
Right.
So, my personal thank you for all of you.
Right. So, yeah, thank you guys. But let's go ahead and get into it. The first topic we wanted to talk about here was basically kind of give you guys a little intro of us, how we became who we are. Not necessarily super in depth and not everything you might want to know, but just a little bit here of what made us us. So once again, I'll let you start that.
All right. Like I said at the beginning, my name is Steve. I'm 31. I have 2 children. Very proud of them. One's named Carter. The other's Cordell. One is 7, and the other one is getting ready to turn 9 here next week. I know.
Wow.
It's been crazy, right?
Damn.
9 years old, man. I looked at him yesterday, dude, and was like, where'd
What?
the time go? Yeah. But that's them. I live in Mansfield, Ohio now. However, I did not grow up here. I've been living in Mansfield for going on 12, 13 years now. I actually was born in Birmingham, Alabama.
I did not know that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think I knew that.
Wow. Yeah,
That's
man.
crazy.
And my parents came up to Ohio. I think they said for job purposes, which
Bad idea.
Yeah.
Bad idea.
Hindsight, maybe not the best idea, but anyway, and they moved to Dayton. I spent for the first 14, 15 years of my life living there. And then some things happened. Maybe one day we'll get into all that. Next thing you know, I'm in foster care in Gallion and started going to North Central State College, which is located in Mansfield for those of you who don't know. And when I emancipated from foster care, I moved to Mansfield and just continued to go to school, and I've been here ever since. Job hopped a bit, and then I ran into this guy over here across from me, Mr. Adam McElroy, at a gas station.
Yep. Shout out Motomart.
Yes, man.
4th Street in the hood.
Then, I would argue there's no real hoods in Mansfield.
Well,
but,
I mean, hood for the area.
Yeah. We just started talking one day, and then next thing I know, he invited me over, and I was very shocked. I remember being at the time because, we hadn't really been talking that long. And then he's like, man, you should come over. I live right over here on Stadium. So
You make me sound like a creeper.
no, man. It was very organic, and if I didn't want to hang out, I would have been like, made every excuse not to come over. But that definitely happened, and then we've hit it off ever since. Went through a lot of tough times, probably 6 to 8 months after that. Like I said, another topic for another time, but when I had very little options on, what to do and where to go, this man took me in. He lived in a 1-bedroom with some friends upstairs in the attic. Yet he told me, hey, there's this couch right here if you want to sleep on it, man. And I'm not even going to charge you rent. So who do you know that would do that for you, man? So, ever since then, I made it a point to keep in contact no matter where we went and what we did. And he did move out of Mansfield eventually, but we always kept in touch. And, a couple years later, we're doing a podcast, right? So, that's all I really got.
Cool, man. Yeah. So for me, I can't really say anything negative about my childhood. I had a pretty good childhood, man. Really had a lot of kind of mental issues as a young adult. Really what shaped me as a person was psychology and those struggles I had right there, actually. It's true, what happens as a 9, 10-year-old, something like that, really shapes who you become. So, for myself, went to a psychiatrist, let me know of a couple different things might be going on. At the time, my dad really wasn't into kind of medicating for that reason anyway. He called them dummy pills. Didn't want to kind of dull me down and kind of drug me up, which is what they were recommending. And I'm glad he didn't, want to do that. That actually, he taught me everything was mind over matter. You might have some things going on, you might have some demons, but we'll get through them. We don't need medication or anything like that. We're just going to overcome it. It's going to be organic. There were some rough times through that as well. But really that kind of sparked my interest in psychology, which anybody that knows me knows that kind of makes me who I am. Just the knowledge I've found out about psychology and things like that, about stress and things like that. It's just helped me live life on a daily basis. I do my best not to stress because it's kind of pointless, in my opinion. I will say one thing here. One thing I learned in psych has stuck with me forever, man. It's the amount of stress that we feel, looking for a parking spot or in a traffic jam, something like that. Maybe you can't pay a bill on time. The amount of stress that we feel there is only felt in the wild when they're running for their lives.
Oh,
so, I mean, we basically compute a parking spot to a lion chasing us.
Interesting.
So with that little fact there, it obviously puts things in perspective. And people that know me know that I don't stress about little things. They're kind of pointless to me. We just live life and, go about it that way. So, but that definitely shaped who I am from, a 9-year-old kid. All that, kind of built up into me today. So that's a little bit of background for both of us, just to give some listeners context. I know, obviously, some of my friends, some of my listeners might not know who Steve is, and vice versa. Some of his people obviously don't know who I am. So just to give a little context there, a little background of who we are.
Awesome, man.
Anything you want to add to that? Anything?
I guess the question was, you did go into a lot more about how you got to where you are, from a personal standpoint. I just kind of gave a background.
It don't matter.
Yeah, and I get that, but no, that's, and we'll get into that, I'm sure, a bit later. But that's kind of one of the reasons I wanted to do this podcast, is so that I'm a loner naturally, like,
right.
Introvert, and I know you are,
right.
So it's it's a challenging. It's me challenging myself to step out of my comfort zone,
right.
And interact more, and change my mindset of
right.
People ain't worth dealing with. People aren't worth talking to.
Right.
It's just to do different things that I've been doing, my whole entire life. So,
yeah, I mean, I can piggyback off that a little bit, because recently I was thinking, generally people kind of go to work and go home, right?
Right.
Go to work and go home, and that's their life. They have a family or whatever. Maybe they don't have a family, whatever. Work and go home. There's not much of an outside purpose for a lot of people. There's not much that they generally do outside of work. Maybe they make their work their life or whatever, but I've just always struggled with that concept of, this is it, right? This is it for me in this office right here in this cubicle. For you, stocking shelves,
right.
and things like that. Like,
right.
That's always bothered me that, that's maybe it, right?
Right.
So
very depressing.
Right. It really is. So that's one big reason I wanted to start this. Just to, even if nobody listens, man, I don't even care.
Yeah.
Just to kind of put my name out there, put it on something. It's going to go on the internet, so it'll live forever, whether it's buried or not, So
Real.
It's kind of cool, man.
Real.
But one thing I did notice recently, actually, I just started a new job this week, and I think this would be a fun topic to talk about, because new job, obviously new people. I don't know these people that much, right? I work on, like, our building has 5 floors. I predominantly work on the second floor. I would guess there's probably 150 people on that floor, give or take. I obviously don't know everybody, but been introduced to some management, some regular people, all this kind of stuff. And I'm noticing it just kind of hit me. There's 2 different people that are kind of in a management position, or, moving up in the company. And I could pick up on it just by talking to them. And there's some people that excel at their job because of their intellect and how they, apply it to things.
Right.
And then there's some people that excel at their job because of their passion, right? They're excited about it. They go all out. They, congratulate everybody and kind of throw a mini party at work, right? And others are more reserved and just get shit done in the background. So I think for both of us, we would be more on the intellectual side.
I would have to agree.
Yeah.
More so than the passion.
Right.
At least for the fields of work that we're in.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So, with that, Yeah, I mean, I don't understand the passionate side, man. I can't get hyped up. I can't get hyped up about work. So, what would you say? Is there a better method? Or like, which approach would you rather have if you were open to it?
I'm gonna go ahead and shout him out right now. Mr. Gary Vaynerchuk, I believe is his name. Gary V. Look him up on Instagram. Gary VEE. I'm pretty sure is what he's under. He's changed my perspective on so many topics. The guy is just flat out amazing. If you've never checked him out, please go check him out. He is doing everyone a favor by releasing all of his knowledge for absolutely nothing. And he's pretty cocky about it too. And if you watch enough of his videos, you'll figure out why. But he's taught me and helped me understand, and I really believe it now, is that life is about happiness, man.
Right.
At the end of the day.
For sure.
And he talks a lot about how people are doing stuff they don't want to do or they're not happy to do only to maintain a certain status quo or impress people that they quote unquote don't really like or even so and then like I said, the older I get, I've been in retail, man. I got my first job when I was 17. I'm 31 now, so
14 years.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 11 of those, 12 probably, was outside of retail. So I spent my whole work career in retail.
Right.
And when I first started, I used to get a lot of enjoyment out of helping customers, and I felt like I was serving a bigger purpose. But then the older I got, the more I realized corporate America really doesn't care about you. And they have their reasons or whatnot, and really, from their side, I can't blame them. But that's another talk for a different day. But then I started realizing that I need to chase what makes me happy, and I need to, yes, we all have to work and keep a roof over our head and things like that. But we should always be chasing what makes us happy and trying to use that as a source of income. There's something, we're all good at something. Where people say, "Oh, I'm not good enough. I don't have any talents." Bullshit. You haven't done enough stuff to go figure out what your talent is.
Yep, that's a big Gary V point.
Yes, too. And I firmly believed in that, man. And I feel like you can make money off a passion of yours, whatever that would be. I feel like if you can at least part time. Right. I want to do music production. Right. That's my dream since I was knee high. I've always been into music, making beats. That type of thing. And I've just recently been able to truly get into that. I wish I had started a few years earlier, but that's neither here nor there. I'm doing it now. And, I always said, dude, I don't have to get rich and meet, Kanye West and Jay-Z. Right. If I could even just, do my job part-time and make some money doing what I love to do, even half the time. Right. That's better than just, accepting my fate at Walmart, quote unquote, or, I'm going to be doing this the rest of my life. Oh, there's nothing else out there. Quit telling yourself that. Right. And, I just feel like if you really are passionate, like you was saying, talking about something, you can really, and you should really go chase that with everything. Because at the end of the day, we only got one life. Right. We don't have time to be miserable and stressed out over it, man. So
that actually made me connect a couple things too. I'm wondering if like the passionate people at work, that's what they have, right? Right. They have work, you know, they make the best of it and they enjoy their time there. Right. But like us, we're more successful with our intellect and using it in certain ways and stuff. And I'm wondering if the people with the intellectual kind of mindset are the people that have other things, right? Like you have the music production, we both have this podcast and stuff like that. So, I wonder if that's it, man. I wonder if like you said, everybody has a passion,
right? We just got to find it.
And in the workplace, I wonder if that's the intellect versus passion is actually, whether your passion is work versus something else, right? Something outside of work,
right? Yeah. That's a very valid question, man. But
Right.
like I said, I'm gonna always go back to, people ask me, should I quit, man? Like, I don't know what to do. I get people that, 18, 19 years old, first, second job
Right.
at Walmart, and they come to me and they're like, hey, man, should I quit, man? You know what I mean? I was like, dude, change
That's
what
on
makes
you.
you happy, right?
That's on you.
I
Dude.
can't tell you the answer. You gotta have to answer that for yourself.
Right.
You got to figure out what you really want out of life.
Right.
And then when you figure that part out, chase it wholeheartedly.
Right.
And you might have to deal with some bullshit until you get to where you want to get to, but never stop trying to get to where you get to.
Right.
Never.
Right. Excuse me. And the reason people say they don't chase their passion a lot is, they don't have the money for it, they don't have the time for it.
Bull. I mean, yes,
it's true, but yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say, but we started this podcast on almost nothing, right? Like pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
Right. Like I think the logo was like, I would say 20% of our budget. So like, and the logo is not expensive by any means,
Yeah.
but now lucky for me with this new job, it actually pays pretty well, so I can invest in some money for the podcast and whatever else, we're doing. But that brings me to another point, man. Would you rather have a job that is great pay, but you fucking hate it? Now, lucky for me, like I said, I like this job and I have great pay, so luckily I have both.
Now, man.
I'm
really,
so
really
thankful. But would you rather have great pay and you hate your life, at work, or would you have average to kind of lower income but be very happy with what you have to do for 40 hours?
Right. Yeah, definitely. For me, it's an easy question, man.
Okay.
I would definitely take less money.
Yep.
And I had to go through that to realize that. And I always kind of said that
Right.
in the back of my mind, but I didn't really fully, understand it until I lived it. Because I do one thing at Walmart now, but before I was in a supervisor spot, and it's a lot to juggle. It's a very hard job, and I knew that going in. But a lot of days I felt like it was a truly impossible task to really do everything that they wanted you to do.
Right.
And I'm gonna just say that I got used to being stressed out. I don't think I ever really got better at managing. I did work on myself and trying to work on my management skills and all that. And I definitely learned a lot from having that job. But
right. So definitely the average pay, or you would rather be happy.
And I was making more definitely than what I was making now. And but it's not worth the level of stress.
Right.
Dude, I was coming home angry every single day. And that's no way. I don't care. And then it made me realize too, you hear artists say it a lot, but they say, oh, you can be riding around in the Bentley, you have $1 million house, and that don't mean you're happy.
Right.
And that's just the same exact fact on a smaller scale, much smaller scale.
Right.
It showed me like, yeah, I fully believe that.
Right.
You can have trillions of dollars, but you can still be very unhappy with your life. So, it's not about the money. You know what I mean? Chase your happiness.
Shout out Cal Scrooby. I think the line, I could be butchering it, so don't hate me, but I think he said, if you cry in a Honda, you're going to cry in a Lexus.
Right.
Same thing.
So real, man.
I mean, it really is.
So real.
Love that dude out of Cincinnati. I think he's in LA now, but big shout out to him. But yeah, I mean, for me, man, same thing. I'd much rather take the lower income for my mental health. And that's something I've struggled with actually this whole year, all of 2019. January 2nd, I started a really good job, paid extremely well, but that was because of all the overtime. I was working 7 days a week, 13, 14-hour shifts, and I was getting overtime, so the pay was fantastic, but never got to see my family. I had a half-hour drive there and back. So, I mean, we're looking at a 15-hour day already. Plus, you got to wake up probably an hour early before work, get ready and all that. That's 16 hours. So, I had 8 hours to spend with my family, eat some dinner, sleep a little bit if I can, all this stuff. And that's on a day that you don't have to do laundry. You don't have to go to the store. You don't have to do anything really. That's a day you can go basically straight home. And at best, that's a 6-hour night, which is plenty. But, add in crying baby, right? Add in laundry every couple of days for the family.
Right.
Add in going to the store, cleaning the house,
whatever.
Cooking, yeah, I mean, it just added up, man. So, I mean, I was working literally 90 to 95-hour weeks.
Wow.
No days off. Occasionally I had a day off. I'd say like one every 3 weeks, maybe one every 4 weeks. So you're looking at 20, 25 days in a row of this. And I mean, I was pissed, man. Like you said, I was angry.
Right.
All the time.
Right. And the money in your pocket was nice. The bank account looks good, but.
Right. Yeah. And it, with the employer, I mean, there was no getting out of it. There was nobody else to cover the shifts. There was me and one other supervisor for a 24/7 certain department in this manufacturing plant. So every night he's there. Every day I'm there. There's no other substitute.
Oh, wow.
So it's just us in this certain department. There's other supervisors, but they got their own shit to handle. So for myself, I mean, I ended up quitting after probably 3 months. Luckily, was able to save enough in the bank where it didn't kill us or anything like that. But ended up taking, smaller jobs and odd jobs, and ended up quitting those two, just because it wasn't right for my mental health. And I'm glad I did. I mean, we struggled a little bit, but we still got to eat every day. Obviously, the baby got to eat every day and all that kind of stuff. I mean, nobody's starving or anything like that, but definitely struggled a little bit. But I mean, I knew there was a reason I was doing that, because, like I said, now I have this dope job that I like a lot, and with the great pay. So I mean, I got best of both worlds.
Right.
And
hard to knock it.
And that's something I had to kind of communicate with my family and my parents and all that kind of stuff. Like, I understand I keep quitting these jobs, and obviously you need to have income, but at the same time, like, once again, with my background and stuff, I'm more worried about my mental health than my income.
Right.
Like, it's obviously not the best approach. I got credit cards, like, obviously not the best approach, but I'm going to be responsible with them, and I can survive a little bit if I need to.
Right.
So, for both of us, once again, average to less pay is always better, personally,
for sure,
for our mental health. So,
and if anybody has any arguments who might listen to this the other way, I would love to hear your perspective on it. So I know there's people out there that do say, hey, their mindset is, I don't like it here, but I got these bills I have to pay, and why do you feel like you can't compromise on where you live or the car you drive or any of those things? If you have a different perspective, please, hit us up on our Instagram, and we will gladly mention it. And we'll talk about it more.
Right, for sure. But yeah, actually, like he said, hit us up, send us DMs. We are on Facebook too. Might be branching out to other platforms, but those are going to be the main ones predominantly. So Facebook, Instagram, hit us up, send us questions, whatever you want to do, send us feedback, tell us you hate us, whatever you want to do. All feedback's welcomed. But with that being said, we did start the social media accounts just a couple days ago, and we did ask for some fan questions here, just to see, if anybody could, wanted us to answer anything or needed help with anything, funny questions, serious questions, thought-provoking questions, whatever they wanted to submit. So we did get a couple people to send us some stuff, and we got some great questions. So we're going to go over those right now. Now, this first one is from one of my good friends, but they did ask to remain anonymous, just given the content of the question, which I like a lot, just because it's a very good question. So, excuse me, they said, How do I keep my head above water living paycheck to paycheck? Trying to live stress-free, but it's been all work and no play. I've become that boring parent. I'm a single dad trying to rebuild his life, riding the struggle bus. And then he did do a follow-up question. What do you think about that new NF album? So we're both big NF fans. But we'll get to both of these questions. But living paycheck to paycheck, man, that's definitely a struggle. You know, we kind of touched on it a little bit. But what would you have for this person?
Actually, a lot of my answer to that is what we talked about. I think, a lot of us we're going to live paycheck to paycheck for probably a while.
Right.
If not our entire lives, that's just reality for some of us. So I think we should shift our focus from, I'm not saying that you shouldn't try to get out of that situation, but focus more on your happiness and working towards something that hey, yeah, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, but that don't mean you can't be happy. Right. I really don't think that necessarily. Well, it necessarily means that you're unhappy because you need every single dollar before you get paid. You're not able to save much. Right. But I think with a little ambition, we can all work out of our situation, and get out and make better lives for ourselves. But I think, like I said, it doesn't matter if you chase that dollar if it's doing something you hate.
Right.
You're stressed out because you don't make enough, and now you're even more stressed out because you do make money now, but you got a job 40 plus hours a week that you absolutely hate.
Right.
Which would you rather have?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, man. Same thing. We just talked about it a little bit, but we're all paycheck to paycheck, man. I mean, as my whole life I've lived paycheck to paycheck. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nah, not at all.
And like you said, being ambitious, right? So try to better yourself. I mean, not, if, like you said, if you want a better job or need better pay, that's perfectly fine. Ask for a raise. Go ask for a raise. I was scared to ask for a raise. I've asked for a raise 4 times and gotten one 3 times.
Nice.
So, I mean, obviously it depends on where you work and kind of the structure of things, but ask for a raise, man. If they don't give it to you, look for other jobs.
Yeah, but before you go on with that,
okay.
I do want to acknowledge that I think a lot of people, you have to be realistic with what your expectations. You can't expect to get something for nothing.
Right.
Meaning, if you're an ass worker,
you gotta work hard.
If you're a shitty worker, you can't expect to get out of the situation. Right. And that's kind of tied in with the ambition part. Right. But it's taking that honest inventory of yourself and where you're at. If you have to ask somebody, and you get to find somebody you can trust to give you an honest answer. Hey, am I still living paycheck to paycheck or at this shit job because of my work ethic?
Right.
Work on that. I'm very big on analyzing, myself and being very open to other people's opinions about who I am and what I do. I don't live my life on it, but I definitely
feedback's always good.
Always.
So
negative or positive.
I think that's one thing that always gets my employers kind of impressed or thinking about certain things is I always tell them I don't really believe in bad feedback or negative feedback. There is bad feedback where it's just ass, but like negative feedback to me doesn't exist. There's every feedback is good because feedback is perspective.
Yes.
So if you say I'm an asshole, you're probably not wrong, but I have to say, okay, well, why does Steve think I'm an asshole? And like you said, take inventory of yourself. Self-reflect a little bit and stuff like that. So even if I disagree with you, like, nah, dude, I'm the nicest dude of all time. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Knock your ass out. No, but I mean, you got to be honest with yourself. If somebody's not willing to pay you, what you desire or something like that, ask why. Is it because, I do leave that there every time and just kind of cut this corner here?
Oh, I am late to work every other day.
Right. I'm moving way slower than everybody else, or, I don't bring a positive attitude. So I mean, there's ways to better your situation, and even if it's not work related, I mean, you can always downgrade or take a step back in your personal life.
Right.
You know, you might drive a super nice car, 2018 something, and it's costing you $300 a month on the car payment, $150 a month for insurance, right? It's $450 right there.
Yep.
I myself have, well, it's technically my girl's, but I have a little shitty ass Nissan Sentra that gets me point A to point B. We paid $1,500 for it. Insurance, I believe, is $60 a month. Right?
Wow. Yeah.
Right. I mean,
Fuck.
save your money for a couple months, maybe even 6 months, a year, whatever you got to do. But right there, we're talking $390 less than what you're paying, just to not feel as many bumps on the road, right? To have a little bit better of a sound system, or have that backup camera you don't need, right?
Right.
Now, that being said, I'm looking for a new car, but it's possible, man. You just got to self-reflect, and, maybe you don't need that huge house, right? Maybe you can move into an apartment, save yourself $300 a month for 2 years. And what's that, like $7,000 you're going to save in 2 years? Stash that shit. Pretend your rent is $900 a month when it's only $5,000, and put that other $4,000 in the bank. And then guess what? You got a down payment for a house now. Right. Hopefully you're furthering your career at that point, and everything's good. So you just got to self-reflect, man. I mean, everybody's been in that position. You got to self-reflect. You got to stay happy. You got to do what makes you happy, and do your best to find that balance.
Yes. And one more thing before we move on to NF. Anonymous person, whoever you are, I appreciate the question once again. I just want to make the point that, where I'm working at, I hate it. I've definitely
hated it for a little while too.
Huh?
You've hated it for a little while too.
Yeah, I've been hating it, but I've just learned that, to change my situation, it's going to take time. And we say that and we think we understand that, but it took me a while to really understand that, life is short, but you've got time. It's the weirdest concept almost.
That's a Gary Vee thing too, though, because he said he asks people in his interviews all the time, like, how old are you? And they're like, 38. And he's like, dude, fuck off. You got time,
Right. And just realize that, every day is an opportunity.
Right.
And if you live for the next 50 years, that's what, 365 times 50? How many opportunities to reach that goal?
Fuck ton.
Yeah, you can get there.
And I mean, so my parents have their own business, and I asked them probably 4 or 5 years ago, like, how the fuck do you pay for all this? My mom has a huge insurance bill every month that just because she's had, pancreatic and breast cancer over the years. But, glad that she's still with us.
Yes,
but her insurance bill alone would cripple me, even currently.
For her surgeries?
No, just like her insurance, like that she paid
her
health insurance. Yeah.
Wow.
It's insane. And I'm like, how do you afford that? And she explained to me, eventually your car's paid off. Eventually you don't have that note anymore. Eventually your house is paid off.
Uh-huh.
Eventually, that motorcycle that you got is paid off.
Uh-huh.
Eventually all this stuff is paid off. All you have left is utilities and groceries. And so they have their own business, and she let me know, she said, we weren't doing well until we were about 40. She said, we were doing okay, but we weren't doing well till we hit about 40. And that's them owning their own business for over a decade at that point.
Man.
So they grinded.
Yeah.
They grinded for this huge amount of time. And like you said, you got plenty of time left, man. That was, when they said they became pretty well off, we're looking at 15, 16 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And they're still kicking, they still got 20, 30 more years, hopefully, knock on wood.
All goes well.
Right.
It's not unreasonable to expect at all.
I mean, at that point, they're only literally halfway through their life,
Right.
if not, give or take a little bit.
Right.
But right now, I mean, myself, I'm 27. That's maybe a third of my life.
Yeah.
I got plenty of time, man. Got plenty of time. So, definitely don't get discouraged. Keep doing what you're doing. I do know you personally, so you are a great, great father. Even if times are rough. But keep doing what you're doing. It'll pick up, and hopefully this helps. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Nope, that's it.
All right, so we can dive into NF. Like I said, we got this question a couple days ago, and obviously let Steve know about it, so we can kind of spin the album again with this mindset of discussing it. But yeah, go ahead. What do you think of this album? The last one was called Perception. This one's called The Search. Just came out probably about a month and a half ago, in June, I think. Or no, was it?
It just hit
right.
number 1 on Billboard, so
right.
it had to come out
a couple weeks ago. It was the end of July.
Okay.
Yeah, end of July. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, what you got, man? What do you think?
For the record, I do want to say, music to me, you can critique it, but I try not to, honestly, because it's an art form, in my opinion. There's somebody, no matter how much trash you think a song or is, there's somebody out there that likes it. There's somebody out there that's bumping the shit out of it.
Right.
So I try to take that perspective into anything that I hear. Personally, I fucking hate country music. But over the years, I have learned to, hey, there's somebody out there grooving to that. Right. Garth Brooks doesn't sell 10 million records per album for no reason.
Right.
So just be open to the fact that somebody's out there liking it. So with that, like I said, I'm a fan of NF for sure. Adam, you got me hip to him probably going a couple years ago.
Probably.
I didn't really know him. I can't say I did before 2017, really.
Right.
And I have never really listened to his album, so I kind of hate that I don't have nothing to compare it to. Like I said, I had a couple days to listen to this one. I did give it 2 full spins and try to really listen to, a few things.
By the way, 20 tracks. I think it's over, an hour, 15 minutes or so.
Right,
it's definitely lengthy.
Yeah, which is one of my criticisms of the album. But let's start with the positives. I think his flows on there, technically, the guy is good.
Right.
I think he's improved. Like I said, I don't really listen to his full albums, but based off stuff I've heard and
That's interesting because I got a point about his flows too.
Okay. But, I feel like just based on what I've heard previously, which is very little, don't get me wrong, but I really like, technically, I think his flows on here are very nice. The cadences that he uses. And I feel like the flows are good, but some of the topics, I felt like after halfway through the second listen, I kind of felt like I had listened to all the songs already. Like most of the songs generally have the same
vibe.
topic.
Yeah.
Okay. And, music draws me in sonically first. So, like, if the beat doesn't catch me or the flow doesn't catch me, it takes a little bit for me to naturally listen to a song. Which the production I feel like is good on the album.
Right.
But a lot of the beats start to sound the same after a while. And like you said, with 20 tracks, it does become a bit like, I don't feel like I really hear the rest of this album. I found myself, especially after track like 12 or 13,
right.
The second listen through was kind of zoning out. It became background music because it all sound the same.
Yep. On my end, man, I listened to it last night coming home from work, which I got. It's about perfect listen. I got about an hour drive. Sure. Noticed the same thing, man. I looked at my phone 3 separate times on the way home, and I'm like, wait, did it start over? Did the album start? Wow. Like, there's no way I'm done with it yet because I knew how long it was.
Right.
And I still got like 6 tracks, 7 tracks, and I'm like, it definitely sounds the same. And even the content of the lyrics are very powerful and really good, and I like it a lot, but it's sometimes hard to differentiate one song from another
Right.
because it sounds the same. The lyrics are very similar.
Right.
The only thing that really separated it, in my eyes, was like the choruses here and there, and the interludes and stuff like that.
Yeah, man. And I feel like for him, it's a very therapeutic album. You can tell NF is very.
They always are, though. I will say they always are.
Like I said, based on everything else I've heard, it's kind of the same thing as on this album, which I didn't know if that's where you were kind of going with it. Like all his albums start to sound the same. I don't know.
They all have the same theme. Gotcha. They're all very mental health focused, which I like because, like I said, I've struggled with some of that myself. But so I like the content,
right?
But as far as musically and 20 tracks, man, like I was hyped that this was 20 tracks, and it's a great album, and I'm gonna keep listening to it and everything like that. But it's gonna take me a while to be able to tell you what this song is called, versus the next one.
Great point, exactly. Yeah, man. And like I said, like you kind of said, a lot of people probably can relate to it. I couldn't personally. I can't say that I've dealt with enough of a mental health issue to really be like, yeah, that hit home. For me, but I could definitely see how a lot of the younger generations, especially, can relate to what he's going through. But I did read that he was 28.
Yeah, he's about my age.
Yeah. Maybe it's just me, and if it is just me, please let me know. But I kind of felt like at that age, you should be. It sounds like if I didn't know his age, I would feel like somebody maybe 20, 21, 22 wrote it.
Okay.
Based on the way it's like you said, the repetitive stuff. He's stuck. Right. He doesn't know how to get out of.
He's very stuck,
and it's very immature sounding almost to me. You know what I mean? And like I said, that's no knock against him. And what he's going through, mental health is a real thing. I know several people who have,
I see what you mean about the immature thing. It's almost like immature content with mature lyrics.
Right.
Like it's like, okay, you're grown now and you know how to talk about this, but I'm not saying you should be over it or anything. Right. Everybody's got their own struggle, but don't dwell on it, man. Like, it's gonna be hard. Certain things are harder than others, and he has a lot of stuff clearly going on. But
based on what you said, though, it sounds like we've known this for 4, 5, 6 years now. Yeah, it's the exact same thing.
The first album was called Mansion. I kind of listened to that. Somebody got me onto it, and he was introduced to me as I believe a Christian rapper. I don't know if he still is or whatever. Maybe not even Christian, but I know the big selling point was he doesn't cuss at all.
Okay.
And I
there was some on the album.
Was there?
Not a lot, but I'm pretty sure there was some cuss words in there.
I don't even notice them anymore, man. Right. But that's how it was introduced to me. So I kind of like half-assed listen, honestly, to the first album. The second album's called Therapy Sessions.
Okay.
So, I mean, and
that's exactly
same
what
thing.
It sounds like.
The last album is probably my favorite album, but it's called Perception.
Okay.
Kind of similar, what are people thinking, kind of things like that. And then this one, The Search, in my eyes, he's trying to find himself or trying to find happiness, maybe even, or something along those lines. So they've all had the same central theme.
Right.
I believe Mansion was similar too. I can't really speak to that as much, but they've all had the same theme, and like just make different content, man. At this point, he's a great rapper. Mm-hmm. The beats are awesome, even though they sound from similar.
Right,
they're great. They hit hard. Yes. They sound real good. His lyrics are even good. He's a great rapper, like you said. The flows and cadences are good. But that actually brings me to my one main point was about the flows.
Okay.
So one thing I noticed, and it's possible that I was zoning out a little bit, to me, he goes through like 4 different flows in the whole album.
Wow.
Like it's a very choppy flow, or his fast one.
Right.
The choruses and stuff like that are all pretty different. So I really enjoyed those. But as far as his flow, man, like because that's what I thought the first time, and I listened to it a second time with that mindset.
Right.
And like I said, I got halfway through and was like, done because I'm thinking of that the whole time.
Right.
So I'm interested for you to listen to it now, or at least a little bit here and there. Put it on shuffle, listen to 3 or 4, and see what you think. But to me, the flows were all very, very similar.
And maybe that's because of the beats. Because I feel like
that's true too. Yeah,
you can only flow so many ways on a beat. You know what I mean? And I think with the similarity of his beats, it kind of forced him to use the same flows. You know what I mean? I think for his next project, he should really experiment a little bit, sonically, with the beats and everything. I think he'd sound good on some other, ones that aren't so dark and maybe a little bit more upbeat or happy.
Right.
And then like you said, content, subject matter. That's the next step for him, I believe. So, But like I said to my beginning point, it's all art. It's all,
I mean, it's a great album.
I
like the album a lot. But
there's probably somebody out there who didn't, decided not to commit suicide because of him.
Right. For sure.
So I can't sit here and be like, oh, your shit's trash. You need to change your flows up. You need to get different beats. It's all art, man. And, it's for the consumer.
Right. Yeah. With that being said, I'm going to keep listening to the album. I think Perception's still my favorite out of his. But we were asked to critique it, and I think we did.
Voila.
So hopefully that helps with both questions, Mr. Anonymous. But we got another one here. This one, let me see, was from actually my girlfriend. So shouts out to her.
Hi.
She asked us what our favorite thing about being a parent is.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, we should probably try to keep this short because I know both of us are, love being a parent. But for me, man, I never expected to be a parent. Never expected to be a parent at all. Didn't know if I even wanted to be a parent, to be honest with you.
Honestly, I never seen it, dude.
For me? Yeah.
Not that you... I would say that I never thought that you would come to a point where you're like, yeah, I wouldn't mind having one. You know what I mean? Not that you were opposed or anything like, oh, nah, fuck that. Fuck kids. Fuck children.
Well, yeah.
But, especially this early. I'm not going to lie. Right. Especially when
I was waiting until I was 40. That's my plan.
When you told me about it, I was probably more shocked than I've ever been about a friend having a kid. Yeah. Because you are like the most, I just didn't see it happening.
I'm a very live your life type person.
Right.
And for me, in my state of mind at the time, or my perception anyway, you couldn't really live your life the way you wanted if you have a kid. That's why
it's a lot of reality too.
And I mean, it's sure. Real. It's a little real, and that's not a bad thing at all. But you got to make some adjustments. Mm-hmm. But man, we had our beautiful daughter Harper in May of last year, 2018. She's a little over a year old now, and it's the best thing that's ever happened to me, man. It really is. It's crazy because I never really thought that. We hear everybody say, there's nothing like being a parent.
Right.
And it's like, fuck off. How about this blunt? It's about the same, right? But, dude, most people that are close to me know this. When Harper was born and I saw her, I cried. I'm not much of a crier, man. No, you know that.
Dude, I don't think I've ever seen you shed not one tear.
Right.
Not one.
Gangster. No. But
tear ducts.
Right. I think I've cried 3 times in the last year after, since she was born.
Okay.
Which is crazy. Because before that, probably not for 5, 6, 7 years, if not longer, Right. Since she's born, I've been soft as fuck, man. No, but it's great, man. She's amazing.
And you got a girl too. You have to grow soft. My God. If you don't have a soft spot,
right,
and you have a daughter that you claim you care about, there's no way you
I'm
can
getting
not grow
soft
one.
As fuck.
And dude. I don't even have a daughter, and I can see it. I always wanted one.
But dude, my favorite thing though, about being a dad is watching the development, watching her grow up. It's amazing, man. Like week to week. to see how much smarter she gets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
She likes books. She obviously can't read yet, but she likes books and flipping through them and, certain things. And we give her a little cell phone just because she likes it. And she puts it up to her ear and, like, yells at it, like, ah, ah, ah. And we're like, yeah, don't give him no money. And she's like, ah, It's super cute, man. It's amazing. So definitely watching them grow up. Definitely watching her get smarter and smarter every day, man. That's definitely my favorite part.
Yeah, that's definitely a joy. Like I said at the beginning of this thing, mine are 7, and the other one's gonna be 9 here next week. So just last month I hit that phase where I realized that, oh my God, they're growing and like they'll never be this small again ever. It's done. Right. It's over with.
Right.
It really, and I've always kind of known that in the back of my head. It's not gonna be little forever, so cherish it.
Right.
But it's really, I'm seeing it now.
Right. So let me stop you there. That actually brings me back to the point from a long fucking time ago about me working 90 hours and blah blah blah, all that stuff. Yeah. That's really the reason I quit. Is because
man. You can't miss
she's
some
growing
of
up. She's 6-7 months at the time, something like that.
Yeah,
and she's our only one. My girl got a tubal, so she's our only one. And I started to realize that you gotta cherish these moments,
right, man?
Because I would come home and go straight to sleep, and next thing I know, she's doing something else really cool.
Right.
And Jess is telling me, "Oh, she's been doing that for a couple days." Shit,
that sucks, right?
You know what I mean?
That's
and it's only gonna get worse and worse, and exponentially quicker.
Right.
So that's the main reason I gave that up is, you got to watch them grow up.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Now that only happens once, like you said. And then, but that would probably be number 2. That's a very close to number 1. I think the biggest thing for me is, and who knows what they'll be when they're teenagers. Totally unpredictable. I know people who are good people and their kids turn out to be absolute fucking animals. I know people with bad parents turn out to be great people.
Right.
So I don't know what the algorithm is for that.
Right.
I don't think there is something you can. Yeah.
Ice cream. That's about all you
but
can
it's
do.
it's I think for me it's being able to take my childhood and things that I went through, and now that I'm adult with my own children, I can compare kind of the things that I did to what they do. And, their reaction and then how I feel about it, you know what I mean? And kind of be like, no, that was fucking bullshit. Or there's no reason to react the way that you did. Or when this happened, you know what I mean? And then, and I had both of my parents. I know a lot of people don't. My dad was in my life. He worked a lot when we were young, but he kind of had to. There was 5 of us. Mom stayed at home. For a lot of people, that's just the cheapest thing to do.
Right.
And, but it's really hard to sit and say that he taught me a lot. I feel like a lot of who I am came from other people in my life that cared about me and seen something in me that was, had potential, and they took me under their wing and taught me things.
Right.
Throughout my life, there's probably a good 50 people, if I really sat and thought about it, man, that I could say actually contributed to the person that's sitting in this chair right now.
Right.
And I'm going to have to say my mom and my dad are very low on that list.
Wow.
And I hate to say it like that, but if I'm being all the way honest, yeah, man. I don't feel comfortable saying that my parents raised me. I'm not who I am today because of my biological parents. There's so many other people that, had an influence in that. And I want to be able to take, their mistakes kind of, or what I see as their mistakes, or I would have done this differently, and just literally apply that and see what happens.
Right.
Like I said, I got into some trouble as a juvenile and all of that, let's just do things how I think they should have done things.
Right.
Or what I think would have worked more with me.
There's a learning curve, man.
Yeah.
You just got to keep doing it.
So, they're getting, especially my oldest, they're both getting to an age where, puberty's starting to hit and they're going to have questions. The biggest things I want them to know is that I'm here.
Right.
And you can come to me and literally ask me any question. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to punish you for it if you do it in a responsible
Right.
way. You know what I mean? But you can come to me about anything. And I think growing up, I was scared to ask my parents.
We all are. We all are.
You know, for fear of retaliation or being judged or at least feeling that way. And I do my very best, man, to try to let them know, like, dude, you can come in the house and being like, Dad, I shit on myself and then I rubbed it on the walls.
Right.
And I want you to be able to say that with no shame to me.
Right.
I might have an off response, but at the end of the day, you're going to know that I'm not going to judge you or treat you any different because of that. And just see where that goes, man. I just feel like I can do a lot of things that I can be a better parent than my parents were. And at the end of the day, that's all I can really ask for. Try to be in their lives. I know there was some people I was hanging out with that I'd be damned if I let Cordell or Carter hang out with. Right. You know what I mean? You just got to be involved. And it's difficult, I'm sure. They don't have time. And, you know, I was definitely sneaky. We think we are. And we all think we are. How true that is. Right. That's another story. But, you know, just to at least be in their lives and knowing who their friends are, who they're hanging out with, and what their influences are. Right. And I think a big part of that's just getting them comfortable with you, the real you, and knowing that they can come to me with anything. And I'm going to keep it 100. So.
See, and that's, I mean, it's interesting that, you know, you said your parents didn't affect you as much as maybe some other people. Right. And that would be myself included, man. The biggest thing I want to teach Harper is perspective. And I think that's, once again, anybody that knows me knows that I try to keep a pretty clear and good perspective on life. And it sounds opposite. If you know him, but my dad actually taught me that. Big shout out to him because it's actually his birthday today. So shout out to Dad.
How old is he?
55, I believe.
55. Hey,
up
man.
there, something like that.
You are a beautiful 55-year-old. Let me tell you. I hope I look like you. And
I don't. But yeah, man, perception. He always told me a quote growing up. That also helped shape my life. I actually have it tattooed on me. We can't determine on if he made it up or if he heard somebody say it. I've Googled it a million times. Can't find it nowhere. So I credit it to him. He always says, great minds don't think alike. Great minds think for themselves. And that has always stuck with me, man. Powerful. Always.
Very powerful right there.
Because, I mean, if you think about it, you know, Einstein, all these people, Tesla, whoever, you know, even Elon Musk, right? All these people are kind of, maybe not necessarily nowadays, but they were looked down upon. Nobody wanted to listen to them. They were the weirdos, you know, but they shaped everything. They shaped all our knowledge. They came up with discoveries, maybe started a great business or something like that. But it's not the like-minded people that change the world. It's the different people that think about things differently. So I have a big tattoo of Aristotle on my shoulder with my dad's quote under it. Great minds don't think alike. Great minds think for themselves. And that's the philosophy I always grew up with. I always made sure to be myself at all costs. I mean, the entire time you've known me, I think I can say that pretty safely. I've always had
one of the most straight up people I've ever met in my life, good or bad.
Right.
Good or bad.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you how I feel. You know, I'm going to approach it hopefully in a positive way and we can build off of it. But that's one thing I want to teach Harper is perspective. There's bigger things in the world than, you know, making sure you get that parking spot or, you know, rushing home in this rush hour traffic or something like that. Just you know, keep the perspective. So that's going to be one of my favorite things, watching her grow up and hopefully downloading that thought process. As she becomes a teenager, we'll see where that goes, like you said. Cool. We did get 2 more questions here, and then we'll wrap it up. One of them was from Teresa. She's actually, you know, Teresa from Motomart. I just realized that.
Teresa.
Yeah. Teresa.
I run into her. I think it's her ex now, Mike.
Right.
All the time at At Walmart, dude.
Yep.
All the time.
Yep.
I haven't seen
Teresa.
her. She's still around?
Yeah, in the
Wow.
area, yeah.
Okay. Haven't seen her in years,
Yep.
man.
We can talk about that off air, but
Okay.
she's such a great person,
Yes,
man.
she is.
She said she can't wait to listen.
Oh, hey, Teresa.
Yeah, what up? One of my favorite people to ever work with. She's great. But her question, she submitted a couple, but one of them was, if animals could talk, which would be the biggest asshole? I wanted to do that one just because I think it'd be interesting. We haven't really talked about this. I let Steve know the question 10 minutes before we started here. So these are going to be some fresh thoughts. He said, well, I'll let him tell you what he said, but I think for me, the biggest asshole would be, I would think monkeys or chimps or gorillas, something along those lines. I would say gorillas, because you ain't fucking with a gorilla, dude.
Yeah.
And they know that.
Right.
And now they're going to tell you that.
Right. Right.
Yeah, they're going to take over the world. Planet of the Apes style, for real. But gorillas will fuck up an ape, I think. I'm probably wrong, but I would think a silverback.
I'd put my money on a silverback all day.
A silverback gorilla.
Yeah.
Who can have this conversation right here.
Oh my God, scary.
Yeah, he's gonna be a dick.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a dick. What do you think?
I'm gonna have to go with the Honeybadger, man. Every video I've ever seen of this damn animal.
Yep.
He has zero fucks. If he wants your food, he's taking it.
Yep.
You know, if you tick him off, he's gonna fight you. He don't care what size you are. Any of that. I've seen, they kill snakes, dude.
Yep.
The snakes are some of the like top predators in the wild,
Yep.
dude, and
they eat them.
Yeah,
they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I was like, dude, if I ever could be a fucking animal, it'd probably be a honey badger.
See, and when you said that, I thought about a wolverine. But
yeah, they're up there.
Yeah, but a wolverine's just a pussy ass honey badger. Like, it's just a weak ass honey badger. The honey badger will fuck you up, dude.
Right.
But yeah, they'd probably be an asshole.
Right.
Komodo dragons.
For sure.
Would definitely be an asshole.
Oh my God.
Alligators, crocodiles, they're already assholes. They would be way assholes.
Right, dude.
Anything that's ever been a dinosaur.
Oh my God. Facts. I'm gonna have to put rats in there. Ooh. Those are the most squirmy.
Mob on you, son.
Yes. Deep shit. Talk shit about me again. I will have you covered.
Eat your face.
I will have you covered in about 30 seconds. And they'll hide in your fucking walls. And you won't even know about it.
Cockroaches.
Yeah, up there. Up there.
I just envision cockroaches off of like Men in Black. Didn't they talk in Men in Black? Weren't they like, hey, yo, bitch? So I don't know. I'm probably wrong, but I think they did. But yeah, man, gorillas for me, they'd have, because if gorillas could talk and like had like our intellect, they are
unfuckwittable.
I don't think a lion could take them on. Like what? Maybe like an elephant, but an elephant's not gonna run the world or whatever.
Right.
I think a silverback gorilla would fuck us all up and tell us about it.
Right. They actively dare you to talk shit.
Right. I'm just saying a gorilla would fuck up your honey badger.
Right.
Now, the honey badger might talk more shit, and they might be a bigger asshole, but
it's only because they're tiny. If they were big as the gorilla, I think they'd have the gorilla.
Oh, well, yeah. Jesus. Good question, Teresa. We appreciate you. I definitely miss you. I know Steve does too. Had great conversations similar to this at Motomart, just bullshitting. So
yeah, hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing very well.
Last question here was from my buddy Baker. He asked us, what was your biggest motivation for a podcast? I've been wanting to do this for a while. I just kind of threw it on Steve to see if he'd want to do it.
Right.
But yeah, go ahead, man. What were your thoughts behind doing the podcast when I asked you about it?
I like the idea of it, but I'm still doing a lot, so I didn't want to commit to it at first, not knowing that I'd be able to actively do it. regularly like we would need to in order for it to really work
Right.
and actually, build a following and all that. But, after that, I started to take it as, like I said, a challenge like earlier.
Okay.
It's an opportunity for me to, try not being such a loner. Because like I said, it comes natural, and it's so natural. And, this is a chance for me to step out and, get people to know me. And I've done public speaking before. I went to NCSC. Everybody has to take speech, to my knowledge, no matter what degree you're going for. So you kind of get a little bit that there at least. But, like I said, it's just an opportunity to do something I've never done and just grow as a person. I'm all about that, bettering yourself,
trying
learning
new
skills. Yeah, trying new things. There's still some things out there that I'm still a little bitch about. I'm not going to lie. But,
I ain't jumping out of a plane anytime soon.
Right. But eventually I would like to be able to, be 85 and be like, you know what? Every damn fear I've ever had
conquered.
Yes.
That's dope.
Yes. That's the goal, at least, right?
Right. For me, the reason I wanted to start it, I've been listening to podcasts really heavily for the last couple of years, mainly comedian podcasts. Obviously Joe Rogan. Everybody listens to Joe Rogan. Theo Vaughn on This Past Weekend, and The King and the Sting with Brendan Schaub. Those are great podcasts. Also, The Fighter and the Kid with Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen. And it's just something I've always been interested in. And then just knowing us, man. I mean, me and Steve have been through a lot, and we always have great conversations. We have the silliest conversations, the goofiest conversations, the most serious conversations, and everything like that. We've both succeeded in life, and we've both been at rock bottom. So,
hell yeah, man.
I mean, I think we have a really good perspective. I'm glad that he agreed to be the co-host here. And yeah, I just wanted to bring that to the world. I mean, I know everybody growing up says, with their best friend, man, if we had a TV show, right? We would kill it.
Right.
MTV would give us millions, right?
Right.
Everybody says that growing up, myself included. So, it's cool now with today, how easy that is. I mean, it's not a TV show, but it's a podcast. Podcasting has become so popular,
crazy popular,
man. That it's borderline a TV show. It's definitely a media outlet of some sort. So, definitely something I've always thought about. Definitely in the last couple of years, but never wanted to do it alone. Didn't really have somebody that I thought could, be consistent with it and stuff like that. So super stoked when Steve said he'd do it. But yeah, I think just our comedy, our joking, our perspective, being dads, all the above. I think we can bring that to you guys, and hopefully it helps you out. Maybe gives you a little bit better perspective. Helps you if you submit a question or something like that.
Please do.
And hopefully we can make this interesting for you for a long time coming, and help you guys out in one way or the other. Anything you want to add to that?
No, man. I think we had a pretty decent
pretty
first
decent
one.
Yep, pretty
Hopefully
decent.
It sounds good, and we can keep it.
Right.
And we did run a little longer than we thought it would, but I'm just stoked at how easy it was.
Right.
An hour, a week is not going to be nothing,
right.
Especially if we get a couple user questions.
Right. Came together real easy.
Yeah, and we do our research and whatever we're going to be talking about. Man, I think the sky's the limit, dude.
Yeah. So with that being said, definitely hit us up on Facebook and on Instagram at Average AF Podcast. For both platforms. Submit questions, send us DMs, like and share the page, all the above. With the questions, obviously you can be anonymous as well if you wanted it to be a little more personal. Things like that, just let us know. And then look out for it. It's probably going to be a little time away, but I think this is going to be pretty consistent, but we're going to hopefully come out with some merch, not necessarily for profit or anything like that, but just to get it out there and things like that. Maybe some giveaways on Facebook and stuff like that. So look out for that. Like I said, give us a follow on Instagram at Average AF Podcast. Same with Facebook. But we do appreciate everybody listening. Anything you want to add at the end? Any plugs? Anything like that you want to add?
No, man.
Okay. Right on. Well, we do appreciate everybody for listening. Thank you. And tune in. Hopefully every week we'll have this posted over the weekend, Monday, something like that. Just watch out for it. Thanks, guys.
And we out.